Welcome to One Word a Day. I'm Sophia, pilot into the universe of Chinese. Let's continue exploring some Neolithic, supposedly Neolithic characters. Han, and today's character actually shows a divergence between simplified Chinese, which is the latest version, the most population in mainland China use, is lesser known to the international community because they are, I guess, um, the the population in that land in mainland China was not traveling for decades, versus traditional Chinese language users. They have been free range roaming around the globe for quite some time before the simplified Chinese users. So these are the characters that are more spread out across the world. That's the traditional. And because of traditional, also stay closer to the origin of Chinese versus simplified, lots of the elements. Okay, and you can see there are two of them because this tan in simplified Chinese actually simplify and serves a function to both this and this character in traditional Chinese. Okay, this character looks the same as about 2,000 years ago's dictionary compiled by Xu Chen, 说文解字. Okay, if anybody interested to check it out. But this tan means altar. And it serves as, I guess, religious ritual purpose. It's a big space. This altar is different from the English-speaking altar, which is the within church. It's within a space that's roofed. But this altar is the whole thing. It's almost like the church. The whole thing is considered the altar. It's not a particular table, right? It's a whole platform that's used as humans to speaking to the gods or the divinity. And in that sense, it's grander than the English altar concept. Okay, so that's one streamline down there. But this this tan um, serves as a utensil. Here you see the pottery imagery from before. This is a utensil, and this is the sound connected to make this as pan. And we normally, ancient times, we store alcohol in this kind of a jar shape. And then it's bigger body, so it contain more liquid in it, and with a smaller, what do you call it? A smaller neck or the entrance, so you can plug in with a smaller plug. It's easier to handle. So that's order. That in simplified Chinese, it came down two distinctly different function, utility, two different things, but it end up using the same simplified Chinese because I grew up in the simplified Chinese character environment. So I have to talk from this perspective and then come down to trace back to the traditional and to the 2,000 years ago's dictionary. Okay. And this otter image, I'm not sure I pronounce it right, it's made of the soil symbol, which means what material is used to build this thing, this structure. And then the right symbolize you have a good harvest or a good storage of food. This right is a little bit complicated. Okay, let's unpack a little bit. This circular thing with another circular thing with kind of a cover, almost like a pavilion shape thing with open on the sides, is an ancient, probably in today's agriculture as well, a storage of food. So imagine you have a harvest all bundled up. And then there are two ways to store them. Either make them in a rectangular shape, so things are easier to stack up, right? or make them into a circular shape. And why there are two circles? Because the center of the circle is left blank for easy access or ventilation, so that you can have air in the middle to keep the humid, to adjust, I guess, to modulate the right humidity of this crop, because it cannot be too dry. Wait, actually, we want it to be drier, right? Because wet or too much moist can lead to molding, right? A whole year of hard work. You don't want to, we don't, you don't want to keep them in a moist. So this means a good ventilated, dried place and easy access as well. And then with a cover to shade it from the sun. So that's the ancient food storage structure. And then the bottom, we have the sun rise above the horizon, circular with energy, so energetic ball rise above the horizontal line, means the horizon, and then that's our sunrise. So when you have sunrise next to this food storage, you can almost picture this imagery of you're looking at the sun rise up and you already have food in there. So instead of you have to work hard to have food, you have food in there. So it's almost like your emergency fund in today's concept. Like you have a cushioning between today and going hungry. So that food security, that sense of you have the food enough to save in there when the sun rises, give you the sense of abundance. Abundance plus this soil structure together means order. And we can almost imagine order at the beginning of our society. Means we humans, as a whole community, to survive in this natural environment, which may or may not be in our favor, that we try to communicate to that environment all the time, to beg, to plead, to negotiate. I don't know what negotiation power we have, but try to modulate the environment to be in our favor, right? And so we have this soil probably stack up above the ground and then as a platform to show abundance, to communicate to the divinity that abundance is what we want. This is what we need, and please give us a favorable weather condition. Something like that, right? The simple storyline would be like that. So that's the purpose of altar. That's the kind of a direct phone line to, and I would imagine in ancient times, probably lots of rituals related to it, and also you have to make it grand enough so that, I mean, logical would be for the divinity to see us. We need to make ourselves bigger on the ground so somebody from up there could actually see us, possibly hear us, right? And to show the abundance, to either show appreciation or that's the desired status of being, that we want to have abundance and put it on top of this raised ground altar. And that's the function, that's the venue. Okay. And Tan simply is a totally different thing. It's not a platform, it's a contained container. So it's more like a jar. And so here in this episode, I'm using traditional Chinese to show you the variations. But in Chinese, it all came down to the same character. Tian Tan, heaven, temple. Tian means sky and simply means heaven to Chinese. When we hear Tian, it's equivalent of heaven. We don't think in the sky term. It becomes heaven term. More religious instead of like weather, right? It's more, we have this positioning of humans against nature right there in this heaven concept because we live under that condition. And temple is this altar thing. So Tiantan is the temple of heaven. It's located in Beijing. It's I guess, the living evidence of how ancient societies used to communicate to the divinity. And it's fully in circular shape as well. It's a big, beautiful structure. And of course, the later days, like our current regime, maintain that structure because it symbolizes a lot about the Chinese culture. Okay, 花坛, floral bed. So in here, this bed is It's more like tan, like a raised ground. It's a flat surface that's we use to grow flowers. So 花坛 is the flower bed. It's kind of, I guess, landscape to carve out a piece of a plot in the busy, I guess, most likely a city thing because in countryside you don't really need to artificially build a flower bed. It's in the city that you have to carve out a piece of land plot to raise it above the ground and to grow flowers to that. So most likely it's a city effort to landscape decorate this place. Of course, you can individually do that as well, but in China, I guess single family household was not that common at all. So this when you see this expression 花坛, most likely it's a public space. 酒坛. Now here is a different character, right? This means the container, the pottery container. That's specifically for wine or Chinese wine. And 酒坛 is a wine jar. But keep in mind, in Chinese, we use the same character. And 醋坛子, okay, this is a, I believe that, well, this should be the same, right? Because it's containing, instead of liquor, it's containing vinegar now. And when we say 醋坛子, it's vinegar jar little. 子, I spent quite some time explaining yesterday when we talked about 窑子, this making light of something, because 子 comes from the son, the offspring, the derivative of a full-grown man, right? It's not fully grown yet, so it's little. So here I'm translating it as little, but actually it means little thing, tiny little thing. And then vinegar jar thing is a 醋坛子. It's a very specific expression that has nothing to do with vinegar. It's not our cooking cooking part of our cooking liquid anymore. It's woman, jealousy woman. So 醋坛子 normally is used by husband to describe their wives, how possessive they are. They will be so jealous if the husband go talk or appreciate another female. And there is this jealousy involved in there. And I'm not sure why jealousy is associated with vinegar. Probably that's the taste, that emotional state of mind is mostly associated with the sour taste. So things go sour. That's the taste, right? So we use vinegar to indirectly to mean the jealousy, and it's very gender specific. We seldom hear to describe a man 醋坛子. Probably we can as well because the husband can turn possessive and can turn like against their wives, go talk with other men. But this is more woman, like more woman directed. When we say 醋坛子, it's jealousy wives. Okay, there we go. This is how 天坛, the temple of heaven, looks. Well preserved, maintained architecture. I'm not sure if it's a miracle or something, but it is very elaborate, raised above the ground. You can see 3 layers. Wait, 3 layers for you. 3 layers is raised above the ground, and I'm pretty sure each circle symbolizes something. But in any case, raised above the ground means you're getting closer to heaven, right? So you want to get heard by the divine. And so the whole structure is supposed to, almost like in today's technology, you almost want to shoot a beam above to communicate to the divine, right? But this is the best ancient civilization can do, to raise above the ground, to build a big structure so that you can draw the attention from the divinity to gain favor. And in times of a hard year, like with too little rain or too much rain or drought, then you would, I guess, the 天子, the heavenly son, which is the emperor's self-claimed title, they serve the function as the chief communication officer to the heaven. So they are the only person in the whole society, all the land under his governance, to be the one spokesperson of the whole land people to negotiate with the heaven to give them better climate, or not climate, better weather this year so that people can survive. So that's the function of temple of heaven. Thank you for your time. See you another day.